All right, it worked. We are live on YouTube.
Right.
Not that there's anybody watching, but that's what the instructions said to do, just in case. And the clock here says it's still 4 minutes of. We're still waiting for 2 more planning commissioners. Oh, and I've got to figure out how to get the slideshow up. So hold on while I do that. All right, if I go back here and do share screen. All right, are you guys seeing the slideshow?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I will stop sharing. And it's ready to go, hopefully. Oh, Dixie and Heidi are here.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello, Heidi.
Somebody say something, because I was told that the speakers on the laptop don't work very well, and I had to turn on the projector, which I just did.
So we're on the big
Oh,
screen?
yeah. No, you're not on the big, well, you're not on the big screen,
Okay.
but it is much louder now. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. How do I turn the volume down on this thing? There it is. Let's try that. Okay.
There. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right, Mr. Chairman, my clock says 7 o'clock. I am not.
Your clock must be right. So
I'm not expecting that anyone other than the 6 of us will be here. So let's get going and then we can end.
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome to this Zoom meeting, one and all, and I guess we can look at the minutes from the last meeting. Any issues, concerns about the minutes?
I didn't see any.
Okay, I don't hear any. So would there be someone who would?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The minutes passed. So, moving right along. Mr. Wiseman, you're up.
Okay, thanks. So I was looking at my notes. I think it was last August or so that we started this discussion with, gee, do you want to even think about going down this road? And we talked about it a couple of times before I came up with draft amendments. We spent a couple of meetings going through the draft amendments. Our last time we talked about this was the February meeting. And at that time, I presented a slideshow that showed sort of just hypothetical lot sizes at different densities, etc. And I think the consensus of the commission at that time still was to go forward, but you wanted to see kind of some real life examples of what various densities, lot sizes looked like out on the face of the earth. And that is what I have, I went to work doing back in March or February and put together this slideshow. Come on, oh, share, I got one more button to push. There we go. And let's see, let's make sure it will advance. So what I did was I selected a number, no, that's not advancing. What if we do this? Nope, that didn't advance. What if we do, uh-oh. What if we, oh, okay, I gotta go down here. There we go. So I selected a number of subdivisions in Stayton that hopefully you are familiar with, and a couple of subdivisions in Silverton, and 2 different phases of a subdivision in Corvallis, where I went out and so anyway, as you'll see, so information on each will be presented like this: what the zoning is, how many acres are in the subdivision in that plat. Again, this is just phase 1 of Phillips Estates. How many lots, how many homes, what the gross density, and if it's different, what the net density is, the range in lot sizes, the range in lot width. And for each subdivision, I have a copy of the plat itself that gives the lot dimensions and lot size.
So is the part of the goal here is this presentation will be given to the council once we give our opinion, or how is it going to work?
I think, yes, I think that what I envision is once the planning commission reaches a level of comfort with these suggested amendments, I would like to hold a work session with the council to gauge their level of comfort, and then come back to you to schedule a public, and actually, thinking about it a little bit more deeply, I think we should do some type of public informational session prior to actually starting the amendment process with a formal public hearing, and just get some feedback and see what at least those who show up have to say.
Okay, cool.
So again, for each one, I've got a copy of the plat that you just saw, a screen grab off of Google Earths with the subdivision outlined. So you can see that here in Phillips Estates Phase 1, there's still a couple of vacant lots. They're sitting there because, as I assume you know, we've got some stormwater issues out there, and 6 years later, we're still waiting for Mr. Martinac to come up with a solution. But that's irrelevant. And then I went out and just took some photos. So again, you can see this is back in the winter before the trees have leafed out. Just a number of photos up and down the street trying to show you what size houses have been built, what the spacing between houses is, how far back off the street they are, etc. So again, Phillips Estates is in our low density zone. All of the lots are just about 8,000 square feet, and that gave us a density of 3.7 units per acre.
And the goal is 4.
What it was before? Yeah, well, our current code talks about 6 units per acre. The suggested, up to 6 units per acre, which you can't do with an 8,000 square foot lot with 80 feet of frontage. Our suggested, our current draft of the suggested amendments in the LD zone talks about between 4.5 and 6 units per acre. So this is what 3.7 units per acre looks like.
Okay.
Again, still in Phillips Estates Phase 1. Same homes, but just slightly different angles, so you can see how much, oh, come on. All right, so that was Quail Run, Phase 4, which is right next to Phillips Estates, was I believe, early to mid-90s development. Same zoning. This phase of Quail Run was 8.6 acres with 35 single-family detached homes in it for 4.1 units per acre. The lots range in size from 8,000 to 9,200, with a lot width between 70 to 100 feet. I don't know how they did that because the code requires a minimum of 80, but anyway, it was done. And there's a couple that I've discovered like that here in town. So here's a portion of the plat for Quail Run Phase 4. Here's, oh, come on. Here's the other half with the match line for that first section over here. Here's what it looks like on Google Earth. Goldfinch, Hummingbird Ave, and the north end of Quail Run Ave. And here's what it looks like looking at it from across the street.
Good choices of pictures of houses. The one with the bright red trim.
Oh yeah, well, you know, it caught my eye, obviously. So again, those are the shots in Quail Run Phase 4. It's hard to really capture the essence of it with a camera, but here's my efforts.
These are across from the park, I think.
Yes, and in order to get more than 2 houses in a screenshot, I needed to step back away from the street into the park. So Pemberton Estates is a relatively small subdivision. It's less than 3 acres. It's got just 12 lots. It's off of Gardner Ave next to the high school ball field on the east side of Gardner. It was, I think, early 2000s that it was platted. Oh, what's going on? That was too many.
I have not sold a house in that subdivision.
Yeah,
Not one.
yeah.
They haven't been on the market much.
Right. Here's, again, aerial view. This is a medium density zoning. So let me go back a couple of slides. So it's up to 4.3 units per acre, so still not as dense as what we're talking about for the minimum density in the low density zone. Lot widths range from 70 to 80. Lot sizes range from 7,400 to almost 10,000, which I assume will be the larger ones are the ones in the corners. So this lot 1 is the largest lot, and it's got a storm drainage and detention basin easement in the back. So, so here's the aerial, and here's the pictures. I think all of the homes on this street are 2-story, whereas in the others, with the slightly larger lots, there were more 1-story homes. Wildlife Meadows is the most recent subdivision in the city. It's almost 14 acres gross acreage, but there were 3.4 acres of open space. So the gross density in the subdivision is 3.4 units per acre. The net density is 4.5 acres. It was approved under our master plan development standards, which allowed for a variety of lot sizes in exchange for the open space and allowed for a variety of housing types. So there were 4 lots designated as duplex lots.
Did all those get built?
Nope, that two of
I didn't
those,
think so.
two of
Did
those,
they make single?
2 of those lots are vacant today. Permits have not been issued.
Okay.
One of the lots was built with a 2 of the lots were built with duplexes. One was built with a single family house and
I
one
thought so.
and one is vacant.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that the vacant, for purposes of calculating the gross density, I'm assuming the vacant lot will be built with a duplex, but it doesn't have to be. So that could decrease the density slightly, but really not significantly. If there were only 46 units in there instead of 47. The lot sizes range from 4,400 square feet to almost 9,800 square feet. The smaller lots are only 40 feet wide, and some of the bigger ones are 110 feet wide. And you can't really see much of the detail, but here's the plat. It was these corner lots here that were designated for duplexes. These 2 between Fox and Rabbit Run were built as duplexes. There's a single family home on lot 39. And these are the small lots with just 40 feet of frontage.
So what's the minimum size of the lots that
Well,
we have now?
the smallest lot platted in the subdivision is, well, they look like they're all 44, 21.
But what does the city,
So when a developer either chooses or when our code says they are required to go through the master plan development standards, we throw the minimum lot size out the window. And we just, and what it is a process similar to what we are working on here, where we say, okay, you've got 13.4 acres. It's an 8,000 square foot minimum lot size. 13.4 times 43,560 divided by 8,000 equals whatever. And that's how many housing units you may get. And you go design it however you want. In this case, the developer could have had more units in it. Even this is less than what the code would have permitted. But this is what they chose to do. And again, we currently don't have a minimum density requirement. So as long as they are under the maximum density standard, then they can do whatever they want under our current code. So that's how we ended up with duplexes in the low density zone, where they would not otherwise be permitted, and how we ended up with 4,400 square foot lots with 40 feet of frontage in the low density zone, because it is a master plan development. And essentially in exchange for reducing the size of these lots here below the minimum, we ended up with 3.4 acres of parkland dedicated to the city.
oh, that's for the city.
Yes, this open space is owned by the city.
Okay.
To be maintained by the city.
And to be maintained by the city as park and open space.
Okay.
There are the stormwater detention basins are on this property. There was a pond there. Again, when we go to the aerial, so this pond has been there for decades, and this is a stormwater detention area. This is a stormwater detention area. And the developer built a pedestrian path that will eventually connect as part of our citywide pedestrian path system. This property is adjacent to the middle school, and after the pedestrian path was put in here, the middle school actually changed the location of the trails that they have in the woods behind the campus to connect with it. Oh, I don't know why this is doing that. So anyway, these are shots. Is there more? Yeah, so there's the aerial. You can tell that at the time, there were still a number of vacant lots when this aerial was taken. I believe we are down to 3 vacant lots in the subdivision. The developer is holding on to this one for a future home for himself. So I think it will be vacant for a while. And I think that it's this lot and this lot are the only other 2 vacant lots today. How do we change? So here's some street view shots. Mostly.
Prior to tree removal?
Say that again?
Prior to tree removal?
No, these
that
trees,
still standing?
these trees are still there. I mean, again, these shots were late February or early March after your February meeting that I went out and took these. Oh, come on.
There's our police car in the
Yeah. I think it's a Marion County Sheriff lives up there.
Mm-hmm.
These are the skinny lots, the 40-foot lots, so you can see that there's not a whole lot of space between the homes.
really not fond of that RV look.
Oh, this, yeah.
I don't like them. I think they look terrible. They have them in sublimity too.
Yep.
Some people like them. I don't.
Yep. Well, people with RVs like them.
There you go. I don't have one.
All right. So that was it for the Stayton subdivisions. In just searching around the Marion County survey plat website, I was able to find a couple of subdivisions up in Silverton that were relatively new, and again, as we go through these, we're getting slightly denser. So I don't know what Silverton's R1 zone is compared to our zoning, but this is a 14-acre parcel divided into 39 lots. There are 35 single-family detached, 3 single-family attached. There's a triplex building. Each unit is on its own lot, and a duplex building, so for a total of 40 units. It includes 5.3 acres of open space, so the gross density is 2.8 units per acre, but the net density is 4.5 units per acre. The lots range in size from 2,550 up to 13,290, with lot widths of as small as 25 feet and as wide as 105 feet. So again, the gross density is only 2.8, the net is 4.5. Here's a portion of the plat. Here, I think this 81 and 84, well, and 72 are, and these down here are also, these 3 here are also the 25-foot wide lots. These others are 38 and 40 feet wide. These up here are 52, 58, 52, 52, 54. Here's the other portion of the plat and the common open space, and there's part of that open space is a lake. And there are the larger lots are the waterfront lots. So again, here's phase one of the PUD. So again, here's the 25-foot lots in here. You can see that includes a portion of the lake. This is all open space. And this water is included in that acreage of open space. And here's what it looks like on the street.
Get one of the tinier lots?
Yeah, these are getting into those interior lots. I think that, here's the 25-foot wide lot. So again, you've got space between the houses, but you've got a narrow, what I think in some parts of the country may be called a shotgun house. It's long and deep and narrow.
What do they do for parking, yeah?
Funny you should ask that, Richard. Again, here's another shot of the same houses. Again, you can see there's no driveways on the street.
Right.
No overhead door being the primary architectural feature of the home. This is the triplex, but it's really single family attached. Each of these units is on a separate lot. It's got garage, and then there's an alley, and all of the garages come off of the alley for those interior lots. Again, going back to the plat.
So how does it work?
So actually the alley in this
easement. Okay.
in this case, the alley is an easement. As opposed to being dedicated. So it's a private street. It's not a public alley.
So private street and maintained by the owners?
I would assume so. Again, not being a city I work in, I'm not familiar with the details, but I can find that out from Jason, my counterpart up there. That's one shot again. And then here's just a straight on shot of one of those skinny houses, garage in the back, outdoor parking, driveway off of the alley with room to park another car. With a 25-foot wide lot, obviously you're only going to get a single car garage. You're not going to get
Does it have a sidewalk on the front of that?
Yes. Yeah, sidewalks on the street. Well,
okay.
Yep.
All right.
It looks like a standard size street. Room for on-street parking on both sides. The other subdivision in Silverton that I found is called 401k Estates, which must be someone's retirement fund going to work.
Awesome.
It's in the same zone, R1, just under 9.5 acres, 40 lots, 32 single-family detached with 8 duplexes. So a gross density of 5.1. I don't know how I got a net density because there's no open space. So that must be just a mistake in the slide. Gross and net density of 5.1 units per acre. Lot sizes range from 7,000 to 13,850 something. Lot widths range from 60 to 77. Oops, I don't know why that is doing that when I don't want it to. Here's the plat. So essentially one street coming in that loops around on itself and goes back out to the public. It is a public road, but goes out to the pre-existing road. No open space. Well, there's this little tract here, which probably is just pedestrian access connecting to the other. Oh, there's a street over here, so it connects to the right of way of that street.
Okay.
Yeah. Google Earth, there were still some vacant homes in there. I think some of those had been built in March when I was visiting. But again, here's what it looks like on the street. And it was a mix of 1-story and 2-story homes. This is
Looks like a mix of builders.
yeah, probably a mix of builders. Here's one of the duplexes.
Wow,
So
not that attractive
that
of a duplex.
no, right, no, that's I would agree that doesn't meet my architectural
Yeah.
fancy, but again, it gives you an idea of what can fit on the lot. You know, they did it with a single car garage between the units.
There looks like there's one on the far side too.
And right, and this would be the garage for the left-hand unit.
Huh. We can do it better.
Yep. Here's the other duplex. It looks like it's the same building with just different coat of paint.
Yeah.
And maybe slightly different architecture, exterior finish materials, but
So there were 3 in there,
yes, there were 3 duplexes in there. Willamette Landing is a large subdivision on the south side of Corvallis, roughly 450 homes altogether. It was built in 9 different phases. And so I've chosen 2 of the phases to illustrate here. Again, I don't know what Corvallis's RS9 zone is, but this phase, the plat is a gross acreage of 7.3. There's 45 lots, so the density is 6.2 units per acre. The lot sizes range from just under 4,000 to 7,600 square feet. Lot widths are 40 to 74 feet. Here's the plat. I have to say I chose it because my wife and I live here on lot 393. Here's what it looks like on Google Earth. You can see they've got some cul-de-sacs that have parking or open space in the middle there. There's a similar one right adjacent to it. It's not part of this phase, but there's some open space with walking paths that cut through. It was part of the previous phase.
What's going on at the bottom of shoreline there? Back at the slide there. Bottom, but there's the corner of shoreline
this
and
is
dockside?
Yep. What here? Well, there's a sidewalk, a pedestrian path that today dead ends, but will. This is all farm field today,
Okay.
not yet annexed into the city. So the west and south lines of this phase are the Corvallis city limits. But it's land that's in the urban growth boundary, but is still being farmed. They were out combining on Friday night.
Nice.
So you may recognize the little blue car. So again, here's these are 42 foot wide lots. It's probably 8 feet between homes. This was all one builder. So very similar architectural styles. Here's around that cul-de-sac that I was showing you.
Kind of went crazy with the brick around the garage only.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. There's a variety of treatments
Okay.
in the neighborhood.
So the parking there, the extra parking there, that's just to encourage people from parking on the street?
Yeah, there's not room to park on the street around the cul-de-sac, so that area is provided as parking. I guess it's really guest parking, because everybody's got 2 spaces in front of their garage. And then an earlier phase of Willamette Landing, phase 3, has 6.3 units gross density. It includes just under an acre of open space, gives it a net density of 6.8. Lot sizes are a bit smaller, 2,600 square feet up to 9,000 square feet, 26 feet of frontage up to 110 feet of frontage. And again in here, you'll see there's alleys with the backloaded garages. When you get to those narrow, these are lots are all the 20. This looks like it's 24.3, 26, 26, 28. So the narrow lots there. This also is an alley. There's a big piece of open space here that I think was part of a previous phase or a subsequent phase, one of the two. So these homes here all have backloaded alley-loaded garages, and have this large lawn or open space facing the front of their house that is not part of their property. It's owned by the HOA. And all of the tracks here are owned by the HOA. The alleyways are tracks that are owned by the HOA and are private alleys. They're not public alleys. Here's more or detail of the plat. Open space along the river with access to it. What happened? And that's what it looks like from the air.
Community center?
Community center with pool, party room you can rent or to hold events or whatever.
Those are really tight over there on Quail.
Yeah, they're almost attached.
Mm-hmm.
Here, so this is what those 26 foot wide lots look like.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's all 2-story homes. Again, no garages facing the street, no driveways coming out onto the street.
They did a slightly better job than Silverton, I'd have to say.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But Corvallis's rules are a lot stricter, I know.
Yeah, that, and again, this was all one builder, and that may make, that's the difference too, as opposed to someone selling lots and then without the architectural controls in the CC&Rs. I mean, you see that up in Wildlife Meadows too.
Yeah.
Where Roger just sold lots, and while there are some architectural standards, there's no requirement that you have a similar architectural style.
So what are the square footage of these little tiny houses?
These homes are probably 1,600 to 1,800 square feet.
That's a pretty good size.
Yeah. They're not tiny homes by any stretch of the imagination. Right. My sister-in-law rented one for a few years. One of these that were with the backloaded garages. I think it was I think it was like 1,700 square feet that she had.
Mm-hmm.
A good size.
Yep, plenty big.
Size for
plenty
the majority
big.
Of buyers. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and we have all of West Town that are like 1,000 square foot houses on huge lots.
Right. Again, here's the alley with the garages. Many of these, I think these are all detached with a breezeway connecting them to the home. Oh, and I guess that was it. So again, this was my effort to give you an idea of here's what density can look like in a single family home. You know, again, what we're looking at here, this is, what was this, 6.3 units per acre, including an acre of open space. So more dense than what the suggested amendments we've been discussing would allow in the low density zone. But, and as I think I said in this staff report, and as I think if you can recall back to the slideshows in February, I think really this is about the limit for density for single-family detached housing. You know, once you get below a 25-foot frontage, then you might as well have a single-family attached.
Right.
So
I'm pretty impressed with the Corvallis look. I think that looks nice. I know Jackie wouldn't like it because there's no big garden, but the majority of people, you know, that are looking for houses in Stayton would find that attractive. They don't need a lot of yard. They need a place for their dog to go potty, and that's it.
Yep. Again, my wife and I are on a 4,200 square foot lot with essentially 40 feet of frontage. And we did the backyard, so I don't own a lawnmower. We did it all raised bed, gardens, and hardscape between them. And you can have a big garden, even on a lot that size.
Okay, yeah.
If you don't want a lawn.
Right.
Or unless you're a
small
Brit.
lot like that in Hawaii, but you didn't have a choice. There was no other option.
Right. So, thoughts from others? Was this helpful to see these illustrations?
Yeah, very helpful.
Okay.
It's always helpful to see reality.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. But
I think if you're presenting it to the council, I would start with their Corvallis ones and not the Silverton ones. Readjust those slides.
Okay. Right. Well, I have them in the order of increasing density.
Oh, I got it. All right. Well, that makes sense.
So.
I think some of the people on the city council will be gasped at what we did.
I don't know. I think the newer members of the council will be very open to this from my informal conversations with them. But we shall see when we're done with it here and are ready to essentially present it to them.
I think it's going to matter how we make it look, for sure. I think we definitely have a housing crisis and we have to do something. So I think it's a good thing. I think we just need to make sure that it doesn't end up looking trashy.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, that's the key. The issue isn't density. The issue is design and maintenance.
Yeah.
Because you can build something that looks great for the first 5 years, but if nobody takes care of it, in 8 and 10 years, it's going to look like crap. Excuse my French. You know, I look around at some of the apartment complexes in the city, and I go, oh, you know, when that was new, it probably looked fairly decent.
Yeah.
But it's been 35 years, and they haven't done anything to maintain it. Jackie's familiar with that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think your apartment complex is the prime example of that.
It is.
You know, where there's no landscaping. They haven't raked the leaves off the roof in 8 years. You know, and it just, but probably back in the mid-'70s when it was new, it probably looked fairly decent.
Yeah, and the carpets were this thick.
Yeah, right, and haven't been replaced.
The issue, though, is the housing crisis. I mean, they can't, they know they'll have them rented.
That's right. They don't need to keep them nice.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and we haven't had any new multifamily built in 20 years, to be an alternate, right, to compete, to be an alternative.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, Dan.
So next step?
I think next step is, at the August meeting, if we don't have applications, to go back to reviewing the draft amendments and making sure you're comfortable with them. And then I think, however we do it in this age of remote meetings, we try to publicize some type of public information, put the slideshow up on the website. I mean, it is, but it's embedded in the meeting packet, but do it as a separate, its own separate page with a description, et cetera, and see what type of public reaction we get.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, the public should be involved.
Yep. And then, as I said at the beginning of the meeting, I think it's worth having some type of work session discussion with the council to get their reaction to it before we even start your public hearing process, rather than you doing a public hearing, having nobody show up, send it to council, and they go, "What's this all about?"
So do we want to keep all our zoning amendments the same as on this suggested amendment?
Yeah, I would hold on to them. I'll end up including them in the packet again with next meeting most likely, but at least we're not wasting so much paper these days unless you're printing them out at home.
No, I've got two computers, so I'm looking at the
Right,
other
right.
one.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good, perfect.
Oh,
And we'll see where it goes from here.
Okay. So what's our city updates? What's going on with Hayden?
Hayden is, I think, about this close to having a letter of substantial completion from the city engineer / public works department.
Okay.
They
They have some conditions they have to take care of?
They
or-
have some things that still aren't right. I was up there today for the first time in quite a while and saw their model home. That at least on that doesn't look like it's sided yet, but it's all framed and sheathed. And so I think that probably in the next 2 weeks they'll be ready to submit their final plat for approval. I just this morning sent them one more review email regarding the details on the plat. There were still some things they didn't get right, the easement deeds and things like that. So I don't know, this is the end of July already, so it'll probably be mid-September at the earliest before they can start pulling permits beyond the one they have.
Are they stalling a little bit?
I don't think they're stalling. I'm not involved in the back and forth between them. I think they're anxious to get going. I think
Okay.
the issue is their contractors and and making our inspectors happy.
Okay. All right.
At your June meeting, you had a public hearing on the annexation and comprehensive plan amendment. The city council did their thing last week and approved it. So we're still in the appeal period, but nobody showed up at the public hearing, so there is nobody to appeal. And that will be effective, I think it's August 19th is 30 days after. Well, I haven't seen a copy of the ordinance signed by the mayor yet, but I think the 19th is 30 days from the council action. Other than that,
Apartment structure or whatever they were gonna do next to Foothills?
that is essentially on hold until we can figure out how to hold a public hearing with 50 people showing up. It's really up to the city manager, and he's not comfortable doing it on Zoom. I think these public hearings work great if there's one or two people who want to attend. But all three of those public hearings on that application have had a room, the meeting room packed and standing room only, and that's not gonna work in this day and age.
We've
Have
had,
Have they submitted any proposal as far as their high density?
No, and I, to this day, still don't know what zoning the applicant really wants and what he thinks he wants to build. I did have a phone conversation with him maybe now 3 weeks ago, and he has closed on the property.
oh,
I think the sellers were tired of granting extensions
extensions,
and
probably.
said, if you want it, pay up and it's yours, otherwise you've
Sure.
lost your down payment.
Right.
So he is now the owner, he informs me. But what he wants to do with it, I really have no idea. Other than that, we've had some pre-application meetings on potential developments, but nobody has come back with applications. We had a pre-application meeting on a multifamily development on Fred Gerard's property next to the assisted living, between the assisted living and
What used to be Dennis Maps?
and MAPS Credit Union. We've had a pre-application meeting for what I think, if it goes forward, will be a single-family development for what was Norpack's property on the north side of Ida Street, the 13 acres
Good,
between Ida Street and the Salem Ditch.
good.
And that same developer has been asking lots of questions about the rest of Norpack's property.
Oh, we like to hear that.
So
Good.
that could be interesting if he pursues any of that.
Yeah, hopefully. I hate
Um,
to see it just sit there and rot.
yep. I don't think he's interested in the plant, but they have like close to 200 acres
Mm-hmm.
down between the river and Water Street.
Okay, wow.
Um,
What about up on Pine, up on the far end of Pine?
I have not heard anything from him.
Okay,
I think he's waiting for this zoning work.
okay.
And
What about the subdivision down on off of Water? That, it's been for sale forever. I don't think it's moving.
Oh, that one on
Subdivision.
Florence.
The one that's all in wetlands, probably.
Yeah.
Down off of Water. George Graben Horse has had it listed for a while.
off of Water Street?
Yeah, between Knife River and Water, on that area.
Yeah. The Darley plantation property. Yeah, no,
Does
nothing.
that-
Nobody's interested in that.
That big
There's no-
field?
Yeah,
Big wet field.
yeah. It's not mapped as wetlands. It is all floodplain.
Right.
And it's also below the sewer system. So it will take pumping sewage. So there's
That's
been,
not going anywhere anytime soon. Got it.
no, that property's been listed for at least 2 years and nobody has even called asking a question about it.
Yeah, I asked George about it briefly, and he said that thing's never going to sell.
Nope,
So
right.
What about the one on Florence by the?
I actually had somebody called about 2 weeks ago asking about, of all things, wanting to build a woolen mill there.
wow, dreamer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think he
Total
had any,
dreamer. That's great.
I don't think he had
Didn't
any,
Didn't used to be
right.
a wool mill.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I don't think he had any idea that it used to be a woolen mill.
Yeah.
So I told him it would take a comprehensive plan amendment from residential to industrial, and I think that was the end of it. I pointed into industrial property in the city. And that's really about it. And again, I'd be surprised if we have any applications before us in August. I mean, people got a week to submit to meet
There's
the
a
August.
tiny house on Third there that's
Yes.
almost done. It looks so great. I'm
Yes.
so happy every time I drive by it.
Yeah, I have forgotten to drive up there since the permit was issued, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay,
They've got
good.
driveway poured now. They've
Good.
got a nice deck around it. It looks like it's about done.
Yeah, it was factory built at Modern Building Systems. It's kind of their prototype.
Looks great.
Where is it on Third?
It's on Third
Coming
near
towards
Cedar.
towards Calvary, up the hill.
Yeah,
You're going,
Oh,
well,
okay.
Cedar and Third.
yeah,
exactly.
near Cedar.
I'll have to go by there.
Yeah, yeah. I'll drive by there on my way out of town right now. Still
Yeah.
light out.
It looks good.
All right, so
So is
that's
that our first tiny house?
that is our first. That is our second
Accessory dwelling?
It is our second accessory dwelling unit. The other one is, at least it's the second since we've passed the rules that is
Yeah.
legally established.
Yes.
The other is actually in a new home that was built with an accessory apartment in it.
Oh, okay, cool.
On Jefferson Estates Place, whatever it's called. I forget whether it's on Cooper or Brody, but it was one of the
yes.
one of the
Gotcha.
last houses down there.
Mhm.
They put an accessory apartment in it.
Good for them.
Yep. So this is
Dan?
yes.
On your purpose 1716.010, paragraph 3 is a little wordy. You might take a look at that.
Okay.
And also on page 5, paragraph 3, you may want to revise, if he finds that the purpose
Oh.
used.
Yeah, we could make this gender neutral. Yeah, that must be left over from a long time ago.
Good.
I will take care of that for the next draft.
I just thought I might point it out, yeah.
All right, anything else?
Great.
All right. We will see you the last Monday of August.
Thanks, Dan.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
Hi.
Good night.